talking about. He also served as the U.S. ambassador to the UN under President George W. Bush. Ambassador, do you believe President Trump is going to heed the appeals of Zelensky and European leaders and not negotiate control of Ukrainian territory and not make a unilateral ceasefire deal with Putin?
Well, I think this virtual summit they had today is sort of like a short-term vaccination. He probably came out of it thinking in those terms, but it'll depend on how the meeting goes with Putin. I think Putin has the initiative here, and I think what he's going to try and do is show to Trump that he has a peace plan and that it's sincere, even though I don't think it will be, but he's going to try and convince Trump and try and bring him back on his side. I think it's going to be a difficult task with Putin because I think intentionally or unintentionally he did irritate Trump, to put it mildly. But he's going to try to work his KGB training to bring him back. And I think that could involve negotiation. You know, there's a diplomatic term to say, well, we're not really negotiating, we're having an exchange of views. And so they'll exchange views on things like territory and issues like that, and it could get pretty specific.
President Trump threatened Russia with severe consequences if there's not movement toward a peace deal. Do you buy that?
Well, he has threatened before, obviously, tariffs on Russia, which I think the Russians think is hollow given the low amount of exports annually to the U.S., but secondary tariffs on countries primarily buying oil and gas from Russia. They have slapped the 25% tariff on India, although it hasn't gone into effect yet. I can tell you the reaction in India to that, particularly with no tariff slapped on China, which bought an awful lot more oil and gas from Russia, is the Indians are incandescent about this. And there's talk of Putin coming to India later this year. There's talk of Prime Minister Modi of India going to China for the first time since 2018. Obviously, both Moscow and Beijing are going to try to bring India closer to them. I mean, this could have negative consequences because it wasn't well thought through.
I mean, just from your experience seeing these two leaders in the same place back in Helsinki, what did you take away from that? What did you learn?
Well, in the one-on-one they had in Helsinki, not very much came out of it, which I thought was a good thing. Putin did a lot of talking about Syria.